If your spiritual growth feels slow right now, or like nothing is really happening, this reading is for you. You're reflecting, clearing, learning, meditating, but it still doesn't feel like things are moving. What came through in this reading is that slow doesn't mean stalled. It means something very specific is happening beneath the surface. And once you understand what that is, you'll stop questioning yourself and start trusting this phase a lot more. Hi, I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot. This channel is all about practical tarot guidance for spiritual growth. No predictions or generalized fluff, just insight you can actually apply in your real life. This reading is for anyone who feels like their growth seems to have stalled for the moment. You're not doing something wrong. You're not going backwards, and you're not failing, even though it might feel that way. So I asked the cards what was going on, why spiritual growth sometimes feels slow, and what's actually happening during these phases. In this reading, we're going to look at why your spiritual growth feels so slow right now, what's happening beneath the surface, what you're currently integrating, what belief or definition is making this phase feel so slow, and what do you need to stop doing right now, which is super important to help you through this phase. What will actually naturally begin to move once this phase completes, and the healthiest way to support yourself during this phase. Once you see how this all fits together, the frustration around this phase will drop away. So the first question is, why does your spiritual growth feel slow right now? And for this, I have the Three of Pentacles. It feels slow because you've been working on something that was super hard recently, something that you really had to level up to do. It was one of the specific things you came into this life to work on, one of your biggest lessons, which is why it felt so hard. The recent breakthrough you've had, though, means you've now reached a much higher level. However, you now have to get used to your new level and integrate it into every part of your life. And until that happens, you'll be in this phase where it feels like nothing's going on. The second question is, what's happening beneath the surface that you can't see yet? For this, I got the Seven of Pentacles. You're currently examining what to keep and what to kick out of your life. Because this was such a big change, it means you need to look at a lot of your beliefs, definitions, emotions, thoughts, behaviors, etc. Essentially, every aspect of your life. And you need to do an inventory of what resonates with the new you and what doesn't. You're trying on all the different pieces and seeing if they still work in your life, or whether they no longer fit with your new vibration, and then cutting out the bits that no longer work for you. So what part of your growth is currently integrating? Well, I have the Eight of Pentacles for that. All these changes that I've been talking about are now integrating into your physical body, right down to the cellular level and below. What this means is you might be feeling tired, foggy, sluggish because of all this. As you keep or kick out all the bits and pieces you're sorting through from the previous card, all these changes are filtering down and being written into your DNA. It's a process that needs to happen, so you kick out all the things associated with the old you. If this is resonating so far, please take a moment and like the video. It really helps this kind of content reach the people who need it. The fourth question is, what belief or definition is making this feel so slow? And for this, I got the Tower. The belief you have that's causing this phase to feel slow is that it's a big problem that nothing seems to be happening right now, so you must have done something horribly wrong. I'm here to tell you that's not true. So you can let that belief go. You don't need to be going through massive, life-altering events and breakthroughs all the time. Your higher self isn't out there to beat you up with massive change after massive change. Sometimes you simply need to integrate things so you don't break and crash down. Plus, to reach the next level, the previous one has to be fully integrated. So give yourself a break and let this phase do the work it's supposed to do. The fifth question is, what do you need to stop doing right now? And for this, I have the Five of Swords. You need to stop beating yourself up. Stop with the negative self-talk that leaves you feeling like you're failing or you're useless. Things are working. When you start bullying yourself, you change what you're pulling towards you until you come out of that negative spiral and start pulling yourself back up. So until you stop undermining yourself, every little change has to go backwards and forwards a few times until you cement these new differences into your life. Basically, the negative self-talk is actually slowing things down for you, which is why it's time to stop doing it. The sixth question is, what will naturally begin to move once this phase completes? And for this, I got the Three of Swords reversed. The stress, the heartbreak, the feeling like life is super hard, and all the crying that seems to happen randomly. These are all just signs of the massive change you've gone through that made you level up so much. It's your body pushing out all the stuff that no longer matches your new frequency. When you've finally integrated it all, these things will clear up again. The seventh question is, what's the healthiest way to support yourself during this phase? And for that, I have the Page of Pentacles. You need to love yourself unconditionally. Realize just how amazing you are for having gone through this big breakthrough. It was no small feat during your last level up, since it was such an important lesson that was at the core of your life plan. So give yourself a break and be amazed at what you've accomplished. You truly are right on track and doing everything you're supposed to be doing. Interestingly, 4 out of those 7 cards are Pentacles, which is massive and really shows how physical this phase is because of the breakthrough you had. If this reading resonated, please let me know in the comments which part stood out to you most. I do read and reply to every comment. And if you want clarity on how this phase specifically applies to your life, there's a link in the description to book a private tarot reading with me. Subscribe if you want grounded, practical spiritual guidance like this, the kind that helps you trust yourself and move forward with clarity. Because you're doing great. The phase you're going through is doing exactly what it's meant to do. So take a breath, relax. You've got this. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video.